Today I'm replacing these broken cables, one transmission cable and one to activate the four-wheel drive cable. So let's get started. Very first step was to drop the brush guard, and that required taking out 2 pins. Brush guard out of the way. Now there's 2 latches, one on each side, to flip the hood. Need to remove some screws so I can twist the fuse block and get it out so I can take the front bucket out. Once all the screws are out comes the front bucket. After following the cables, I noticed that these knobs are going to have to come off because that cover that covers over top the shifting arms are going to have to go. This is a 15mm wrench I'm using to twist off the bolt inside to pull the covers off. In order to take this cover off, it's got little tabs on the inside, so you have to take a screwdriver in and try to kind of bend them in and pop it out. Once that cover was off and I got a good look inside, I realized there's another cover in the very front here that's going to have to come off also. It has quite a few screws in it, and it's 2 different sizes, so you got to be careful on that. There's 2 in the bottom that are different sizes, bigger ones. This one here, let's see or not, the end is broken off. This one here, the bottom one, is just not attached. Probably because the other one busted off and it made it too loose. Now, I don't know. I don't know whether it's best just to replace them both at the same time. There you can see the bottom one. Now this one here is working, but I've had trouble with it. I had to rig it in the back to get it to work. So while I have this apart, I should replace that cable too. Let's see if we can get you from the other side. Now here's the other side. This is the cable that's bad, for sure. Top one. And then this one is the top one that goes all the way to the back, and I could show you maybe how it's rigged. The bottom one of this one here, which is the 4-wheel drive, it activates the bottom axle. So I know it's the top one on this one, and the top one on that one are definitely bad. This is a view from the passenger side looking at the seat. The seat's folded up, and the way these plastic body parts are put on, they overlap each other. So you have to sit around and try to figure out which ones have to come off first. So you actually have to start tearing, make sure you get all the bolts. Some of the bolts are up there underneath the seat, and you have to take the frame off, the seat off, and all kinds of things to get to where the cables are. They run right down the center of the frame. Lots and lots of screws in this. I miss one once in a while, and I have to go back and find it. But be careful, they're everywhere. Well, once all the screws were out there, I missed one, so I had to go back. I'm trying to fight this thing up to get it past it. It's pretty stiff, so it just didn't want to come. I ended up and had to take more stuff apart, but as you see, I fought with it for quite a while. If somebody has an easier way to pop this out, let me know in the comments. I could have used the help then. After fighting with it for a while and not making anywhere, I realized the seat and even the seat bracket has to come off in order for me to get that out of there. Finally did get it out. It wasn't even easy with that seat bracket out, but it did end up and pop out. I almost had to force it out. Then I decided to go ahead and clean it up with some compressed air and get all the dirt that's been there forever. I don't know whether you can see the cables yet or not, but they're running down right down the middle. Okay, now I'm going to give you just an idea of what all I had to take apart to get ready to put in the cable. First, you can see the toolbox is gone, and also that panel that was here. There's the toolbox, and there's the panel. Had to take off the handles for these, And I took off this panel here, which gives me access to where the cables connect. I then had to take off the middle piece here. Well, I loosened up the screws on this front panel first. It's right, where is that front panel? It's around somewhere. But in order to take off that front panel, I had to take off the centerpiece here, which is the little, another little toolbox or little area here that goes into here. That's what covers it. And then I had to take off the seat in order to get to the cables down here. You see where they're tied in there? I don't know whether I'm going to tie them in there or not. I might even try to maybe cable tie them or something different, so I could just cut them. Maybe like a cable tie here. I might be able to get underneath it. And then next time I don't have to take out the floorboards. That's maybe what I'll do. So I had to also take off the back gate, or the dump bed. The dump bed was only 2 bolts. One's here and the other one's here. I also had to take off the side panel on this side panel to get that the whole way out, get the floorboards. And there's the floorboards, and believe me, that floorboard wasn't a lot of fun to get out. I had to take off a lot more part than what I thought I would. But then I blew it all down, and here in a minute or so, I'm gonna get ready to start putting the cable in. As you can see, you gotta tear about half the thing apart in order to get the cables in there. I can see why I heard that the mechanics at the John Deere place just hate to put in these cables. I didn't even check to see how much it would cost. There's a lot of labor involved, so I'm assuming the cost of the labor would be pretty high. Now here I'm just disconnecting the old cable and getting it ready for the new. And here is the new. Now I'm going to put it in and connect it. I'm going to connect it so the adjustment's loose. Now initially I put it in the adjustment area first on the other side of each one of those screws, and that didn't work out very well for me. I ended up had to take it off and hook it up to the actuator first and then slide it into the adjustment. I do believe it should have been easier than what it was. It seemed like it took me a while to fight it in there and get everything into place. I had to shift the gear manually and things like that to get it on there and get everything connected up. Now I'm just fishing the table from the back towards the front. I must apologize for the location of the video on this one. I know you can't see too much, but that's me feeding the cable to the front and connecting it into the actuators, the arm actuators that are actually inside the shifting handles. In other words, it wasn't that bad. Hooking them up wasn't terrible either. I had to loosen up one of them, the bottom one, to get the top one on for the shifter, but it all went okay. Yeah, I did get the cable installed and put in here. I had to loosen up the bottom one in order for it to loosen up enough to go on. The bottom one, maybe I should have replaced it too, but boy, you hate to replace too much when the parts cost so much. I think these darn cables were $85 a piece, so you really hate to replace too many. Now I've got this other one to replace, which is the four-wheel drive one, which is working right now, but I had to rig it to work here last winter. So I am going to take it out and see what I can do with it. It should be easier to replace, but the way this goes, you never know. I mean, I'm really surprised how much I had to take apart to get this. So then my next job is to get that piece up through here. And I think on this one, I'll attach this end first and then see what I can do in the other end, because I was able to take the piece off last time I was working on it. So I guess we'll get started on that one. Now this is the assembly here with the cable on it. I'm going to take that assembly the whole way off. Let me see if I don't even think I get to it in here. No, I can't without taking more covers off. Oh, yes, I can. I can get to it there. I'm still, let's see. Now, the way I rigged it, I had to rig it so it was because the adjustment broke, so I rigged it. So I'm going to have to take that spring off in order to get that piece off because it's rigged pretty strong there. I guess if I take, there's a pin down here and there's a pin up here. I guess I can take this pin out. This key. Oops. Just don't want to come, does it? It will. They always do. Yes, my big head got in the way a couple times with filming, but I decided it was easier for me just to take off the whole assembly on the on this four-wheel drive actuator. You just pull a pin here and there, bolt here and there. The whole assembly comes right out, and then it makes it a little bit easier to get that spring and everything else off. The old cable was just rusted out and it couldn't be adjusted. That's why I had to rig it, and that's why I'm now replacing it with a new cable. Okay, now you get a better view of the old one. As you see, I had to rig it here. I put this nut on here and everything else just so that I could get it out far enough. I just cut it because it won't pull through. I want it out of there. So, and the other one in. So there's the old one. This right here is the old one. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to take it out. New one comes down through here, goes through these rings, this up here. Once I got the old cable out, I had a little bit of a hard time getting the new one through. I don't know what I was hitting, but I had to try it 3 or 4 times before I finally got it into place. For some reason, it was just hard for me to detach that, you know how they kind of twist in there. I just couldn't get a hold of it in the position it is. It's still tight in there, but hopefully I get it. Old one is out. Now we got to try to install the new one. It's just tight working in there. It's hard to get anything to get exactly where you want it. I had to fight it. It was easier to get in than out. I think I forgot to turn on the tape to actually tape this. But you see the spring is back connected. The arm's connected. What I had to do was this part right here. I put into the spring first. Then I put it on this. Then I put this in here together like that. And then I just tighten it up just so it's kind of snug. I am going to have to do some adjustments probably, but first thing I want to do is probably start getting things back together, at least the front, so I can check the shifting. Then after that, I need to tie everything down and carry on. As you see, cables, I did get the new ones through here. This string here, they all go up here through the flooring. Like I said, I think I'm going to cable tie them. Then that way I can pull the old one out and pull a new one in. I won't have to take the floorboard up next time I do this. I think is what I'm going to do. If I take a cable tie and tie it here, I can crawl underneath and cut it off. I think that'll work good. Everything's connected. Now I am going to have to start. Now here I am just running around cable tying and making sure the cable's not going to get caught up on anything. Now it's time to put the flooring back in. Sometimes it's easier to watch everything be put back together, and then you know how it goes apart better. Sometimes you see it better because you don't have the interruptions between, and usually when you put things together, you're a little bit better organized. As you can see, floorboard went in first, then I put in the centerpiece again, and then I'm going to start reattaching the sides. Next comes the seats. You got to remember I took off the bracket and everything. I needed to take the bracket off also to get the floorboard out because it was catching on the bracket. So it's both the seat and the backing goes on. Now I'm putting the handles back on the shifter, and sorry about the video. I didn't really get a good angle for that. I guess I should have set it up a little bit better. But they went on easy enough just as they come off. Now it's time for the test. This is the big part of it. Here I have to start it up and go forward, reverse, check four-wheel drive, all that. If you notice, I do not have the dump bed on, nor do I have that front panel on just over top the hood. I left those out so I can get in there and adjust the cables if need be. I did take it for a ride down the road. I'm satisfied, so I'm going to start putting panels on. Looks like I forgot how that one goes on. It certainly doesn't go on that way, so I flip it over. I do believe I get it on the right way, but sometimes I forget a little bit too easy. All right, as you can see, the Gator here is back together. My thoughts on the job: it was not an easy job. It takes a full day to do something like this, especially for an old man like myself. But it is finished. Both the four-wheel drive appears to be working. I did test the shifter. Naturally, I had some adjustments to make sure that it would go in all four gears: the low, the high, the neutral, and reverse. Maybe should have replaced the bottom cable on the shifter. I replaced the top cable that had broken, but I did not replace the bottom one. In order to change these cables, you see, you got to tear about the whole thing apart. It's all the covers, the seats. There's not many covers left on it by the time you're done. But it is finished. And if you're watching, if you have any questions or comments, I certainly could have used some help getting the floor boards off. I mean, that was one of the hardest things. It took me some time to be able to even work it out, even once I had to seat out all the other covers. So if you have easier ways and maybe it folds out easier, I couldn't figure out. I kind of had to force it in and out. But if you know an easier way, let me know. I'll put it in the comments. If you have any other comments about how I could have done this easier or done that easier, please express the comments. I do enjoy learning. And I take comments seriously, and I will try to respond to every comment because I do appreciate your time. So this is the Old Man with the Plan. I want to thank you for viewing, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your time. And if you haven't subscribed, think about it. It is free, doesn't cost you a thing, and you will help an old man out. So once again, this is the Old Man with the Plan. I'll see you later.